Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Honor the Feminine podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Ledford, and today we have the amazing MaryCade Mainwaring, and I'm really excited to have her here to share with us. So as you know, we start each episode with a travel image from my travels and the story that goes with it. Because when I was out traveling is when I really got back in touch with my intuition. When the day-to-day chaos and expectations fell away, I started to hear her again. She started to really whisper to me. And I know she was always there, but she'd gotten muffled, and it was beautiful to tap back in and start to create a relationship with her. So today, our image is called Sacred Swirl. It was taken in Kalimpong, India. The natural swirl of the cactus is mesmerizing as it harkens back to the golden mean spiral of sacred geometry. The patterns and codes of sacred geometry are deemed symbolic of our own inner realm and the subtle structure of our awareness. The dichotomy of the harsh thorns and the delicate pink flowers mirrors the colorfully harsh and intricately delicate beauty of life. And this is the image that reminds me of our guest today, MaryCade. MaryCade, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shannon. I'm so happy to be here.
So share yourself with us. Tell us about you.
Okay. Well, I am a mother of 3 amazing and unique and special, wonderful daughters. And I am was a wife and now a widow of an amazing, beautiful man. And I'm a daughter of 2 loving parents and a sister to amazing women. I'm a daughter-in-law to the best in-laws on the planet. I'm a realtor and a businesswoman. I am a lover of nature and a student of life and love and all there is to learn.
So I knew your husband, Gwen.
Yes.
And he was one of my favorite men.
Oh.
He had that beautiful, loving energy, and that he had 3 daughters, and the love that you and he shared was always so inspiring. Can you just speak to us a little about him and the journey that you 2 took?
I can try. Gwen was all that. He was an amazing man. He I don't want to make him sound like a saint because everybody that knew him knows that wasn't true. He certainly wasn't a saint, but he was one of the best among men. And his journey was all about love, and he loved well, and he loved generously, and he loved me. He loved his girls fiercely. He loved you. He loved his parents. He loved the world. He loved everybody he met. And everybody that knew him felt that love. Everybody. And he included people. He brought people together. He was just a really huge spirit on the planet and a wonderful person. I was lucky.
Yeah. I think we were all lucky to have him touch our lives.
Yeah, I agree.
So can you talk to us about your journey with him through cancer a little bit?
Sure. He was diagnosed about 5 years ago, the first time. And it was shocking. We were just going along in life like everybody does. We were just a family like everybody else. And we had these 3 girls and a really busy life, and we both worked and had careers, and we were happy. We were just going along being happy and doing life with the, very typical ups and downs of life. And it was all good. And at midnight in the ER, they came in and said cancer, which changed everything. And we spent the next year dealing with that, the usual chemo, radiation, second opinions, surgeries, in and out of the hospital, standard cancer. And that, at that time, that broke me open in a way that I had not been open previously. And really changed that was the beginning of changing everything for me. We got through that year, and I don't know if it was a gift or if it was just straight up naivety, but I thought we were done. I thought that was it. And I thought we got to go back to life. And we did. We did. For 2 years, we went back to life, and we lived and we traveled and we had fun and we loved and we appreciated everything more. And I didn't think it was going to end. And during that time, after we got him well again, my health went into crisis mode, which is kind of a long story, but I ended up having to step back from the world for about 8 months and take care of my own health issues, which were primarily related to emotion, I think. And I had to really do some inner work and some journeying inward and learning and listening and being still and paying attention. At that time, I had a pretty hardcore business that I spent a lot of time and energy on. And during that 8 months, I lost my business. I had to let it go. I really let go of everything. I just kind of stopped life and took care of myself. And I was still in the middle of that journey when Gwen was re-diagnosed with stage 4 cancer this time that had gone into his bones, and really only his bones. It was colon cancer again, gone into his bones. And so we cranked it back up after the initial shock of that. I went back into go mode and took care of business. And I am a woman that can get things done. So I got things done.
Ladies, that is an understatement. MaryCade is what you can call a complete powerhouse. Full of heart, but a complete powerhouse.
Well, thank you, Shannon. I certainly can be. And those next couple of years, I was a complete powerhouse, just taking care of everything for Gwen. And
yeah.
I was making all the decisions and doing all the research and traveling places looking for the right answers for him. The doctors, when we went to see them that time, said, there's nothing we can do except give you chemo till you die. And basically, you will die, and we're just going to give you chemo till you do. It's not really going to help very much, and you're going to feel awful. And we said, well, that doesn't sound like an option. So we looked into alternative treatments, which took us all over the country and all over the world. And I feel like there's nothing we didn't try. And it was a long, slow, sad, hard, beautiful, gorgeous, deep, gut-wrenching, heart-opening process. And he finally gave it up and died February 1st of this year. Yeah.
So can you feel in with us around your process through grief after Gwen's passing and into the girls with me?
Sure. It's grief. Grief is not something that I knew anything about. Unless you've done it, you don't know anything about it. Even if you've read about it, even if you've seen somebody go through it, you have no idea. And thankfully, I didn't know anything about it. I'd had a very charmed life, full of love, and the people that I love still being here and being close. And grief it's amazing. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. starting with the first night in the ER when they said cancer. It started right there, and I'm still in it. And it's the hardest, but it's also the deepest, most beautiful, most earth-shattering, most amazing teacher. I can't imagine a more intense teacher than grief.
Yeah. I always feel like grief is so enigmatic, and that it changes faces and it comes back around. And yeah, there were days when it felt like a tsunami, and days when it felt like it cracked open to let the light in, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. When I was in my early 20s, I had a boyfriend in high school who I'd been with for nearly 6 years. And we had actually parted ways. I'd gone across the country to law school, and he was living and just bought a house in the town where we grew up, this little town in California. And 6 weeks into law school, he got in a freak accident at 23 and died.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
And so, yeah, the enigmatic grief showed up in a really big way. But as I feel in to the love that we had for each other, and into all of the beautiful ways in which it cracked me open to let the light in, to help me become the woman that I am. And this is now, we're going on. That's 19 years ago.
Wow.
So, yeah, there's something beautiful too about time and space around grief, and that it's not going to show up for anyone the way that you expect it or the way that it showed up for you.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. The time, I can't even think about time anymore. I think about one day at a time. Yeah. I mean, I've been so learning to live in the present moment through this entire thing. I don't plan very far ahead. I just have to get through today, and it's really taught me to be present and to experience today and to do what we have to do today. And if I wake up today and realize I can't do today, I can't do my long to-do list, I have to just go to the woods and be with this and feel this, then I do. I just do. Because I want to stay so present with it. It's such a teacher. It's such a unique time in life. I'm sure you remember you were younger, and I don't know if you remember, but I feel like there's a veil that's lifted when you're in this intense period, and I feel open to so much, and it's really my intention to stay with it. I want to stay with the process. I want to stay with the lessons. I want to stay with the grief. I want to feel it. I want to look at it. I want to listen to it. I want to roll around in it, and I want to get everything that it's here to teach me, because it's so much. It's just so much.
Yeah, I think I didn't at a younger age have as much capacity for that, but I also didn't have I wasn't holding the space for 3 other gorgeous beings to do this with me, you know?
Yes. Yes. And that's an interesting thing. We were very clear with the girls all the way through his cancer. We talked with them. We processed with them. We told them our hopes and our fears and our dreams and our treatment plans and our journeys. We were gone a lot for treatments, and the grandparents kept them, and they were so strong and wonderful. We told them every time we had news from the doctor. We kept them in the loop and kept them with us, and they were all very close to Gwen. He adored those girls, and we took them great. We all went graveyard shopping together. And that was an interesting part of it, but it was part of life. It was just part of, like, it's showing them that living and dying come together, and love and loss come together. And, you know, we do all these things. And so we all went together to the graveyard to find where we would leave him. And they're doing amazingly well. Children are really resilient. I think that as they grow older, they will think about this in different terms, and they'll probably do a lot of their processing as they're older and in their own way. Right now, they are just amazing, resilient, strong, happy girls. They're into everything. They're throwing themselves into life and taking new adventures. And I'm so proud of them. They're all doing amazingly well, and they miss their dad, but they're carrying on with his spirit of generosity and joy and laughter and adventure and funniness. He was funny. He was a funny guy.
He was funny. Yeah, and I love how you, at the beginning, were like, we can't paint him as a saint, and I can feel that too. But that heart, when you felt into that heart, there was a saintly part of that. And
yeah.
And the way he loved made all of us feel, I mean, yeah, just so gorgeous.
Yeah. That was his specialty.
It was. It was his gift. It was the way in which he served the world.
It was. I was listening to Wayne Dyer the other day, and Wayne Dyer was saying, don't die with your music still in you. And I was thinking, Wayne's music was love. And he did not die with that still in him. He shared and shared and shared love. And he was generous beyond measure with his love. His whole philosophy was, we are here to learn to love and be loved, and to expand our ability to love and be loved. Every day. That's it. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. And he lived his whole life that way, which was amazing. It was really amazing. It was beautiful to watch and beautiful to be the center of.
Can you speak with us about the support system that you have and that grew up around you, even more fiercely, if you will, in this process?
Shannon, I've never seen anything like it. My parents live in Asheville, and his parents live an hour away, and his sister lives in Asheville. And so we started with a really good, stable, solid support system. And we've lived in the community for a long time. We were both very involved in the community. We both know a lot of people, and everybody came around, and not just people in Asheville and in our local community, but Gwen and I are both outgoing, gregarious people, and we have friends all over the world, and everybody just came in close. One friend was a total lifesaver and started a You Caring page, which raised money for treatments. All of our treatments were alternative and cost a lot of money out of pocket. And I couldn't believe how generously people gave to us. It was the most touching, beautiful thing I've ever seen. And then people also just checked on me constantly, checked on Gwen constantly, brought food, cut the grass, took care of things. The neighborhood stepped up and just took care of all the things. Gwen was a very manly man, and he took care of all the manly stuff. And all his guy friends just adored him, and they all came around and took care of all the things that he would normally take care of. And we were just so supported and so loved and so taken care of through that time. And it really was beautiful because it allowed us to just be fully present with the process. Fully present. I didn't work through that whole process. I just stayed right by his side. We were together 24 hours a day, and I took care of him 24 hours a day. And we were able to do that together and to move through that together. One of the most amazing things that happened through the process was a letter writing process that we did with Carolyn Wallace. We did legacy letters. And I think you heard his legacy letter, which was unbelievably gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, it's just beautiful. I don't know if there's a way that we can share that along with this podcast, but I could send you a copy if we could.
Yeah, and we can. We'll share it on the Facebook page as this comes out. Yeah.
Good.
It is so, yeah. It is you really just felt into such the beautiful process that you all embarked on, really.
Yes. What she did for us was nothing that anybody else could have done. She just took us on this journey of writing, and she just gradually and gently led us into this process. And it opened us both so much. It made us stop and focus and be present to just be running. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What can we try now? What can we eat now? What doctor could we find now? What country could we go to now? And Carolyn just brought us to this place of slow down and write and open your heart and open your mind and be with this process. And we both did. And it was painful. Oh my goodness. We both did the process over a number of months. It was incredibly painful, incredibly beautiful, incredibly heart opening. And at the end of it, I realized when Gwen died, there was nothing left unsaid. I didn't have to look back and say, oh, I wish I had said, or I wish he had said, or I wish I had asked, or I wish he had left something for the girls, or I wish. It was all said. He left personal letters to me, to the world, to each of the girls, to his parents, my parents. We all said everything we needed to say. And the pure, deep love was understood and expressed. It was beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's an important process that everybody should do.
Yeah, what a gorgeous gift to have the time and space so that nothing got left unsaid. What a gorgeous gift. Oh my God.
It was an amazing gift. Yeah, it was beautiful. It really was. You couldn't give a better gift than that.
I mean, can you think of anything better to be able to say about your life beyond nothing was left unsaid? I loved so deeply and so hard, and nothing was left unsaid. Oh.
Yes. It's amazing. It was an amazing opportunity.
So as you step into today, how do you honor the feminine and stay in touch with your intuition?
Well, I've had to learn. I had a number of years before cancer where I had really sort of shut down the ability to listen. I was really busy with life and with being a young mother and a wife and running a business, or even just staying home with the kids in the years that I did that. I really shut down that ability that I used to be really open to, and didn't realize how much I had closed down my ability to hear my intuition and ability to honor my feminine, because I just was trying to, it's a tough time when you're doing all that mothering and being and changing. And when cancer came along, it cracked something open in me that had just been closed off for a number of years. And I had gotten pretty tough, and the softer side of me was pretty hard to access. And I had quit hugging people, and I had quit crying, and I had quit being able to show up for vulnerability. And when he said cancer in the ER at midnight, everything cracked open. And I don't think I've stopped crying since. So there's a lot of tears.
Amen, sister.
Amen. Amen. Nobody can accuse me of not letting it out. But it also really brought me back to really listen to my heart and to what I need to know and how I need to feel my way through this. And I made a real commitment to myself to feel my way through this and to really open to everything and not to run from it. And so that's what I do every day. I feel my way through every day. And that's a little hard place to be because I can be in the middle of a business meeting and all of a sudden I'm crying, or in the middle of the grocery store or driving alone just when I think I'm fine. It just shows up. But I also really honor what it is. I loved deeply and I lost deeply. And that my best place to really be able to be quiet and be still and listen and understand things that I can't understand in the busyness of life is in the woods. And so I tend to hike a lot and retreat to the woods a lot. And that is where I can be still, where my mind can be still and my body can be moving, and I can hear my intuition. I can hear my feminine spirit rising to talk to me and to help balance out my rather strong masculine energy that I tend to have and tend to be ruled by. So I go to the woods. It's quiet and it's nature and it's perfect and it wants nothing and it gives everything. And it's the healing place for me.
I love that. And I also have that, innate masculine energy. And I've realized that in some ways, gosh, that serves me so well.
Yes.
In action. But the shift for me has been that I had put too much, I gotten too much into just the action for action's sake, and the slowdown to feel into the creativity and the intention around the action and then to act. That has changed everything.
Yes. I agree. It's got to be a joining and a unity of the two. And I think you and I are alike, that our masculine just really tends to jump up there and take over. And
we can do this,
We can do this. Yes, we can always do this. And it's harder for me, but it's been such a joy and such a wonder to step back and to let my masculine just sit down and let her rise and listen to her and hear the song that she sings and the desires that she has and the adventures that are waiting. And it just makes life so much more beautiful and sweeter to have a marriage of the two. It really does. It makes it better, I think, to just let both sides be strong and let both sides show up and let both sides speak loudly and clearly and softly and quietly.
Yes. It's interesting. I really want to celebrate with you the feeling into whatever emotion comes up and the tears in the grocery store or in a meeting. My grief, I think because I was younger, I shut all of that down. So there was a point where I shut it down, got really into my masculine, powered through law school, got the kind of job everybody wanted, right? Up in New York as a corporate lawyer. And there was a point where I realized I hadn't cried in probably 3 or 4 years. And I was like, whoa. And anyone who knows me knows that if I feel really deeply, that the tears, I've cried through this whole thing with you because I just, in sisterhood with you, in all of the love, and I cry really openly all the time. And I just think it's beautiful. And I celebrate that because it's one of the ways that I know that I'm in touch with more of all of me, like more fully in touch with me.
Yes. Yes. And with all that life has to offer.
Oh.
I see how easy it would be. Well, I don't. I mean, I see people do it all the time, to shut down and be tough and just tough it out and stay busy and don't think about the grief and don't think about the loss and just power forward. I see that people do it, and I was going to say I see how people do it, but I don't see how. I don't have a choice in this. I mean, I'm making a very conscious choice to stay with it. I'm making a very conscious choice to stay open and to feel and to retreat when I need to retreat and to be in it at all times. I mean, I love it when I'm busy and I realize like I've been working and, I haven't thought about him for an hour or two. And I'm like, oh, wow, that was kind of like a vacation. That's kind of nice. But at the same time, I don't want to circle back around to this later, and I don't want to miss the beauty of what it is now. And so I am choosing and being led through this process of extreme openness and extreme vulnerability and extreme feeling and extreme eye openness and extreme love through this process. It's pretty amazing. I never really saw that coming.
Well, and I think the stage was so beautifully set from the time and space and the legacy letters and all that you did as a family. Like if you'd shut down at that point, then it might have felt really easy to continue to be shut down. But after being burst open in that way, seems like the shutting down, like you're talking about, feels impossible.
Yeah, it does. That's exactly right. It feels impossible. So it was a choice all along the way. Mm-hmm. I made choices along the way, even on the days that I didn't want Carolyn to come over. And she would show up at the door and I would think, oh, go away. I can't do this today. and then I would spend the next 2 hours writing and crying with Kleenex sitting there, and then just so grateful that she had kept pushing her way in, which she did. She just kept showing up and she kept saying, pick up your pen and write now. And so we would, even when I didn't want to. And I kept making the choice, okay, I'll do it, which was hard, but life changing, life altering completely. And you're right. That's what led me to this point of there's only one way for me to go through this, which is just feel my way through the dark step by step.
And what a beautiful gift.
Yes.
I do want to circle back just for a moment around the loving beings that you and Gwen are, and how much love poured back in, and just really acknowledge and celebrate that was just a mere reflection.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I saw that. I saw in the midst of it, I saw that. I saw that who Gwen and I were together as people, and just the way that we had lived our lives and the way that we had been involved in the community and the friendships that we had had throughout our lives and the relationships that we had had throughout our lives all came back. We had created something beautiful. And it all came back to us. Yeah. It was a gift. A gift that I'm eternally grateful for.
Yeah. On that note, my love, Are you ready for the random questions? We'll go a little to the lighter side. How does that feel?
Great. Great.
So the first one is, if you could sit down with a woman, alive or dead, for a chat and tea, who would it be?
Huh. Gosh. Interestingly, I would really like to sit down with my Aunt Marjorie. That's a long story in my family, and I'm so curious about who she was and what she was about and what she believed and how she lived her life and how her life story and her pain shaped her life. I have a lot of curiosity there, and I would love to sit and talk with her and learn and understand.
Gorgeous. And the second question is, where would you most like to travel?
Ooh. Well, the top of my bucket list was Costa Rica, and I took myself there a couple months after Gwen died. And so that was amazing. And I've always wanted to go. I've been to South Africa, but I've always wanted to go up into Africa, like Kenya. And I'm taking the girls to Kenya in June. So the four of us are going to go travel and go on safari, and that's a big dream come true.
Oh, I love it. I'll tell you that the travel that I did when I left being a corporate lawyer and decided I wanted to see the world, part of that was losing my boyfriend at such an early age, and I knew I wasn't guaranteed retirement, and so I wanted to feel in and live now. Like, not to be irresponsible and not be able to pay the rent, but I wanted to do both. I wanted to really, when the wind whispered my name, I wanted to move in that direction. And I spent 9 months, 10 months living in a Land Cruiser driving through Southern and Eastern Africa at one point. And
wow.
But that's part of what got broken open. That's what was not in the conditioning of growing up that became so clear to me as a beautiful path that I could choose to take.
That sounds like exactly what I would love to do right now. It's not what you can do when you're the mother of three and you're the sole provider for the family. You can't do that anymore. But that's something like that is exactly what's calling to me, which is why I just keep going to the woods and keep planning trips. Just keep moving.
So tell us, how do we reach out and connect with you?
Well, I'm on Facebook. Just my personal page is marycademainwaring. And if anybody wants to email for any reason, my email is marycademainwaring, marycademainwaring @yahoo.com.
Yeah, and MaryCade, if you're looking to relocate to the Asheville area, can help you find your home.
Yes, that's true. I love doing real estate. I'm really enjoying being back in that. That also feels like a big gift of being able to walk back into real estate and be able to provide for my children through that and help people find a home in the mountains. Feels like such a huge gift.
Yeah, and this community that you love and have been so loved in.
Yes. It's great.
And we will put all of that so you can really easily get in touch with MaryCade in the show notes for this episode over at honorthefeminine.com. So it's easy to find.
Great.
MaryCade, thank you for today.
Shannon, thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure.
Oh, it's been mine. This was magic. Hello again, everyone. I am so deeply honored that MaryCade agreed to join me on today's episode. Today was special. And I dedicate today to Gwen. And actually, the way this came about is I had a dream and Gwen was in the dream. And I don't actually remember my dreams that often, but he was there, and I felt this deep desire to reach out to MaryCade just to see if she felt ready to tell her story, because I knew how powerful it was. And I had felt so deeply touched by the love of Gwen, the love of MaryCade, the love they shared together. And really it was all about love. And even as I sit here and share this with you today, I'm in tears now as I feel into all of that. Oh, yeah. So again, I just feel so honored and blessed that MaryCade said yes to come and spend some time with me, and just to really so deeply and fully share of herself, of her and Gwen's journey, of the journey of her family. So if you would like to connect with MaryCade, you can go over to the show notes at honorthefeminine.com. If you're listening on the day that this episode goes live, it's February 22nd, so 222. Twos have been up for me recently, and so today feels very auspicious. We have launched Cultivate Connection, 8 days of unfolding. And so we invite you to go over to our virtual sacred space at Honor the Feminine Daily and join us there. And you'll have all the information about how to get connected to our Cultivate Connection. It starts March 1st. And so if you're listening to us live, come over and join us for the fun. So it'll be 8 days. And each day there'll be a theme and a goddess to invoke and rituals you can deepen into. And really, it's about cultivating connection with yourself, with each other, and with the world. So I would love for you to join us for this. It's going to be really fun. So each day, again, there'll be a theme. And then on March 8th, we will have a circle in celebration of International Women's Day. And that'll be a virtual circle where we can all come together on Zoom and see each other. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I love connecting more deeply with you. I'm a connector, and so I love connecting one-on-one and then feeling into whom I can connect you with. It's really, it's one of the things that I do that really brings me a lot of joy. And finally, if you enjoyed today, please subscribe. We have some beautiful interviews coming up, and I don't want you to miss any of that. So subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher. All right, everyone, have a beautiful day.